Assalamualaikum. Welcome to this video tutorial again on simplifying Java for OOP1 students of King Faisal University and for others who want to learn Java. This is part 18 in this series and is entitled Reading and Writing Files in Java. The primary class to use in managing files in Java is the file class, which is from the Java IO package. There are many methods to choose to handle files in Java. Some of these methods are read all bytes and read all lines for small files, new buffered reader and new buffered writer for text files, new input stream and new output stream for streams and can be used with existing APIs also. New byte channel for channels and byte buffers, file channel for file locking and memory mapped I/O. But for this tutorial, we will be using file class and scanner class for reading files and file writer class and buffer writer class for writing files. Now let's start at once with an activity now numbered 35. We will create a text file first in Drive D. I hope you have Drive D that contains 5 names separated in different lines and we're going to name it read file point text. Then we're going to create a Java project that will read this file and it will display all its contents on the console. So our input is that file, read file point text in drive D, and the output will be the contents of that file. For our process, we first have to instantiate the file class. Then we have to instantiate the scanner class, something that we usually do. For example, we're going to name it read. And then we're going to create a looping statement that will read each line of the file until it's not yet the end of the file. Every line we're going to read, we will place in a variable called line, which should be a string, and then we will display that line. Let's name the project reading file. Okay, first we have to go to Drive D and create a new text document for our text file. We're going to call it read file point text. And then we'll put 5 names. I select mine, Yusuf, Yaya, Musa, Nu. Okay, I have my 5 names. So we now have the read file point text. Now when we can go to NetBeans, let's call our project reading file. Finish. Okay, we have to import our usual import scanner. We will use it, but we will use it differently this time. You can see later. And then we also have to import the file class from java.io. Okay. Let's instantiate file. So let's call it file is equal to new file. And that is the file that we created in drive D. The colon slash read file point txt, which is text file. Now let's instantiate scanner. Let's call it read is equal to new. Now look at this one. See the difference? We're not going to use system.in but the file because we're going to read from the file. So it will be that file object. But as you can see, there's an error. And if you look at the error, it says an exception must be thrown. The solution to that is in the main method declaration, you have to type throws exception. Now we can continue. Let's create a looping statement while read has next line. There it is. So what we're going to do is that we're going to read each line and we will put that in variable line, which is string. Read that next line. That's it. Now we're going to display that line on the console. System.out print line. Sorry, line. Okay. Now kalas. We can run it now. Okay, that's it. So we can now see the 5 names from the read file.txt file. So after reading, we're now going to write data in the file. This is activity number 36, and we're going to write a Java project that will create in Drive D a file called write file point text containing the numbers 1 to 10 separated in different lines. Our input will be the numbers from 1 to 10 and our output will be the write file point text in Drive D. For our process, we have to first instantiate FileWriter class. Now, the FileWriter class is a class that is used to write character files or a stream of characters to be exact. Then we have to instantiate the buffered writer class. Now, what's the difference between the two? The buffered writer class is the one that writes the text to an output stream. That's why it's called buffer. Then, to make it easier, we're going to use a loop for the numbers 1 to 10. The first thing we're going to do is to write it. Please don't be confused. This is the object name for the buffered writer class. And then this is the method. We need to convert this number to string because, as I said, we're talking about character output stream. Then we're going to separate them by a new line, so we will put a new line. This is the command for that, and then we will save it using flush. Okay, let's call our new project writing file. Now let's import the two classes both from java.io. Actually, you can just put star or asterisk, but let's specify them for this exercise. Buffered writer, and the other one is import java.io dot file writer. File writer. Next, we have to instantiate both of them. Let's start with the file writer. Let's call it a write file is equal to new file writer, and then the name of the file. We'll put it in Drive D again, slash, and then let's name it write file point text. So this file will be created by this program, and if it exists, it will be overwritten. Again, the error is because of the throws exception. So we have to put also throws exception. Then the buffered writer, we have to instantiate it also. Let's call it write is equal to new buffered writer. Of course, it's write file. We can start with the loop for integer I is equal to 1. I think in the example I said x. I'm not sure now. It's the same. It's just a variable. I is less than or equal to 10. Sorry. And increment is I plus plus. First, we have to write it, the value that will be converted to string, because I is now an integer. We have to convert it to string. Okay. Next is we're going to put a new line to do that. Sorry. New line. Yeah, there. And the last is we have to flash it. Right, dot flash. Correct. Class. Easy, right? Now let's try to run it. Okay, the build was successful. To know if we got the output correctly, we have to go to drive D. There, this is the right file. Let's try to double click it and we will see the numbers 1 to 10. Very good. Well done. Before we end this tutorial, we're going to revisit and revise activity number 35, the reading file project, by using a try-catch block. Now this will be helpful if the file wasn't found. Let's rename read file so that when we run the project, it will not be able to see the file. Okay, let's go back to reading file. Now let's try to run it. Okay, there's an error that the file cannot be found. This is the exception that we want to catch. So before the scanner, we will put the try block. Let's put some indents here. Okay, that's enough. And we'll catch that exception. E. And we'll display the error. System that out. That print line for the error plus the message. Okay, so if we run it again, there, we were able to control or catch the exception. Okay, that's it. I hope you've learned how to use files in Java. So, thank you for watching this video. Masalama.